In my last video, part 1 of the Watches of Succession, we specifically honed in on the Roy family, breaking down the iconic watches that each main character is known for wearing. But today, we're expanding the scope, which means including husbands like Tom, and taking a closer look at some of the absolutely insane watches that have made appearances throughout the series. Because with a family this dysfunctional and this rich, you better believe their collections go way beyond just one watch. Starting with Kendall Roy. In the last video, we discussed Kendall's absolutely outrageous Patek Philippe Nautilus 5711, a $150,000 watch grail for many, including myself, that most of us mortals won't own in this lifetime. But if you thought the ceiling of insane luxury watches peaked there, you'd be completely wrong. And for Kendall Roy, the tormented heir to the Waystar Royco throne, each piece on his wrist is a statement, not just about money, but about power, insecurity, ambition, and his constant need to prove himself. Starting with his next ludicrously expensive watch, what I believe to be a Vacheron Constantin Harmony Mono-Pusher chronograph, a limited edition of just 260 pieces. Kendall wears it during moments where he's trying to appear thoughtful, mature, in control. It reflects the image of legacy he's desperately trying to claim, aligning himself with Vacheron, a brand as old as time itself, to make up for his own lack of gravitas. Modeled after a 1928 pulsometer chronograph and released as part of Vacheron's 260th anniversary collection, the Harmony stands out for its refined cushion-shaped case, measuring 42mm across, and its blend of vintage inspiration with modern execution. At its heart is the hand-wound caliber 3300, a movement developed specifically for this collection. The layout is clean and symmetrical, with a running second subdial at 9 o'clock and elegant leaf-shaped hands. The watch offers a power reserve of around 65 hours and is finished to the standards you'd expect from one of the oldest watchmakers in the world. It's not just rare because it's limited, it's rare because almost no one makes chronographs like this anymore. Originally retailing around $65,000 USD, prices on these for the secondary market seem a little difficult to pin down, but it's very safe to say there's been a substantial uptick. I will say that in some shots, it does look as though Kendall is wearing a different VC, a Vacheron Traditionnel Perpetual Calendar chronograph. A watch that, while similar in many ways, has a distinctly different, and more importantly round, K-shape. But while it is entirely possible he does own both, there are a few shots in particular that lead me to believe it's the VC Harmony. But in Season 4, we see something potentially even more elusive. A Richard Mille, specifically what I believe to be an RM6701. This watch marks a significant departure from Kendall's earlier choices. Where the Vacheron is traditional, historic, and rooted in classic design, the RM6701 is futuristic, ultra-modern, and aggressively technical. It's one of Richard Mille's thinnest models, known for combining cutting-edge materials with a skeletonized dial. The case is a slim 38.7mm by 47.5mm tonneau shape, unmistakably Mille, and is likely crafted in carbon TPT or titanium, both of which are signature materials used by the brand to achieve extreme lightness and durability. Mechanically, the RM6701 is powered by the in-house CRMA-6 automatic movement, boasting a 50-hour power reserve, free-sprung balance wheel, and a variable geometry rotor, a feature that adjusts the winding efficiency based on the wearer's activity. It's a technical marvel, and very much a statement watch, not just because of its price tag, but because of what it represents: exclusivity, precision, and taste that veers into the stratosphere of high horology. Retail pricing for the RM6701 starts around $150,000 USD, but depending on materials and configuration, secondary prices can easily exceed $200,000 to $250,000. And that's if you can even find one. For Kendall, this shift into Richard Mille territory is more than just a flex. It's a signal that he's no longer chasing his father's legacy. He's building his own. The RM6701 is bold, youthful, disruptive, everything Logan wasn't. Tom Wambsgans. Tom Wambsgans might not have been born into wealth like the Roys, and honestly, it shows. He's the guy who says the quiet part out loud, who fawns, flatters, and flails his way through the boardroom while trying to keep one foot on the neck of the guy below him. He's not exactly respected by the family, tolerated maybe, but Tom understands something critical. Appearances matter, and nothing says I belong here quite like the right watch. The first watch we see on Tom's wrist is a Panerai Luminor Marina, and it shows up in the same episode where he gifts Logan a Patek Philippe. The Luminor Marina is instantly recognizable thanks to its oversized cushion case, distinctive crown guard, and minimalist dial. All unmistakable Panerai trademarks. Panerai make a lot of very similar references, but if I had to throw one out there, I'd say something like a PAM 00632, a 44mm Panerai originally produced in 2016 with a hand-wound mechanical movement. Built for durability, this tool watch with military heritage feels slightly at odds with Tom's personality, which makes it all the more interesting. It's almost like he's cosplaying confidence, strapping on something that looks commanding while still scrambling for approval behind the scenes. As it turns out, the exact watch worn by Tom was actually a prop watch that later sold at auction for nearly the price of a real Panerai. Retail prices for a Luminor Marina typically fall in the $6,000 to $10,000 range, depending on reference and materials. The next piece we see on Tom's wrist is a Cartier de Santos, a classic, understated, elegant, and quietly aspirational dress watch. This is the Tom we meet in the early seasons, hungry, eager to impress Logan, and constantly measuring himself against the Roys. Cartier is the perfect choice for this era of his character. It's luxury, yes, but it's accessible luxury. Oh, and it matches Chiv's Cartier Panthère. The large model, which Tom is likely wearing, features a 39.8mm steel case with clean lines and a slim 9.38mm profile, making it refined enough for dinner with Logan, but still noticeable on the wrist. The silvered opaline dial, paired with Cartier's signature blue steel sword-shaped hands, gives it that timeless upper-crust aesthetic, like something you inherit even if you bought it last week. It's powered by the automatic caliber 1847 MC, and comes with both a stainless steel bracelet and a calfskin strap. The Santos straddles the line between everyday wear and legacy flex, which is exactly what Tom is going for. It's polished, it's corporate, and it's just enough to fool people into thinking you've always been rich. Retail pricing for a piece like this typically lands in the $7,000 to $9,000 range, depending on the model, and values have held steady thanks to Cartier's resurgence in recent years. As Tom becomes more entrenched in the family and more confident in his position, we see a noticeable shift with the introduction of his crown jewel, the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak chronograph, reference 26331ST. This is a statement piece, one that screams "I've arrived" to anyone fluent in the language of wealth. The 26331ST is a stainless steel chronograph housed in the Royal Oak's iconic 41mm octagonal case, originally designed by Gerald Henter in the 1970s. It features a black Grande Tapisserie textured dial, 3 contrasting subdials, and applied white gold hour markers, a perfect balance of sport and elegance. Inside ticks the caliber 2385, a self-winding chronograph movement with a 40-hour power reserve, tucked beneath a sapphire caseback. Water resistance sits at 50 meters, not exactly meant for diving, but this watch isn't about utility. Retail for the 26331ST originally sat around $30,000 USD, but demand for Royal Oaks has pushed resale prices well north of $45,000 to $80,000, depending on condition and exact configuration. And that's if you can find one. This watch doesn't just elevate Tom's wrist game, it's his final form. Whether anyone takes him seriously is another matter, but in Tom's mind, the Royal Oak does a lot of the talking for him. Anyway, that's it for today's video. Did you spot all these watches in the show? And what show do you want me to do next? Let me know in the comments. Until next time, thanks for checking out the watch list.